5, 16, 19, 21, 30, 3 and 10. Check results. You remember?
Where I'm from, England, we have a phrase. That phrase is, you've had a mare. I've just had a mare. Always had a mare, aka a nightmare. Maybe you say that in places where you're from. I don't know how many regions that phrase appears in. But today I have had a mare. It is ridiculously late or early in tomorrow's morning, depending on how you want to look at it. And I'm doing this now. Not only is it late, obviously I'm currently staying in somebody else's home, and I cannot wake them up. That would be very embarrassing for me, first of all, and probably annoying for them. Also, first of all, from their perspective. But things have to be done, and I do a podcast a day, give or take a few hours, and that will not break now. The reason being is I had work today, evening shift. You know what I'm like, I can't wake up early. I can, I just prefer not to. Did that effectively. I was just washing dishes today for hours non-stop, pretty much just washing dishes, busboy. And I've noticed something, right? In establishments, wherever I'm working as a waiter in the kitchen, or just viewing like the kitchen going ons as someone, as an outsider, it's always the boys in the kitchen and the girls front of house. And whether that's because the people in charge decide, boys, you just go in the back and wash up because we don't trust you up front, the girls are going to do better with sort of meeting and greeting, whether it's because they're just more presentable, or it's because we choose to be back there, because I chose this life. They said, do you want to go front of house kitchen? I said, I'll just chop in the back type thing. So yeah, all the men who work there are indeed in the back, and there's women back there as well, but I don't think there's any men working front of house there. But yeah, it was a crap shift. Came home, walking, and I just wanted to sort of sit down, sleep, more or less. But things have to be done, and topics have to be spoken about, and podcasts have to be made. This is a podcast today, and no matter your mood, no matter the weather, no matter the schedule, you can find 20 minutes out of that day or now night to do this, to do a little update on how you are, how the world is, and how you are. Not that you ever tell me, but you know. And my legs are dripping wet only because, like I said, washing dishes, and you get a lot of backsplash. And there's an apron. They're not waterproof. Why aren't aprons waterproof? That would actually be really, I'd actually quite like a waterproof apron, because yeah, my whole legs, the whole thigh region, wet, very wet. But that dried out on the walk home because it's a decently long walk. It's only like, I think it's like a 30-minute walk, which can drag if you're finishing a shift pretty late to walk 30 minutes. Like 30 minutes is quicker than a 45-minute train ride. But part of me thinks, would I take the train ride just because you get to sit down type thing? But I'm quite a quick walker, so I can shorten that 35-minute walk down to probably about 25 minutes. But I was walking home with somebody because I don't want to walk home alone at night, which is a bit of a diversion from my quickest route, making my route more of like a 45-minute. Anyway, I'm back and I'm back. Yeah, and when I was looking for topics, which by the way was 30 seconds before I sat down in this chair, because I literally just walked in. There was nothing. The something I saw earlier, it's very niche though, it's football related, and very niche to football, very niche to Chelsea, their stadium. There's been talks that I want to use the word we, are going to move stadium, knock down our stadium to redevelop, or something like that. And everyone on Twitter, seems to be like, yes, we need to move, we need a bigger stadium to like crack on and like go to the next level. Everyone keeps saying that, the next level, right? And be taken seriously. And it's just like, oh yeah, because the Emirates is what's made people take Arsenal seriously. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium's done wonders for Spurs. Like, I don't look at how things have gone for Spurs with their stadium, Arsenal with their stadium, or West Ham with their stadium and think I envy them. Out of the three, Tottenham's stadium's state-of-the-art nights, everyone goes there and says, wow, this is something special. But ultimately, what comes with a new big stadium, yeah, you get the extra 20,000 fans, you also get all the extra hospitality seats, you get the more expensive tickets, and the tickets and hospitality is already kind of a problem at Stamford Bridge as it is. You get that, you get the seats being further away from the pitch, and you lose a lot of history, and you kind of have to rebuild that, and history is inevitable. You know, give it enough time, you'll build memories in that new one. But I think there's something to be said for the fact that Chelsea is still one of the sides who keeps their stadium and set it in the same place forever, never moved. Like, that's important to me, and it never used to be. I used to just look at the stadium and think, like what other people think, 42,000 seats, we're a top 6 club, it's not enough. West Ham have more than us, Tottenham have more than us. But I think the stadium is special, and you get all these people, our own fans call it the hut. You know, they say the atmosphere is shit. And a lot of them, yeah, they have probably been to Stamford Bridge, a lot of them probably haven't, and base it off of TV, you know, watching us play Burnley, and we're getting smacked up 3-0 when they're not hearing a crazy atmosphere. And it's like, for most sides, it's going to be like that. As much as we want to think every team is just got this sing even when they're not winning fan base, it's just not the case. You know, it is actually, you're going to get it from a lower down the table side because they don't win as much. A Leeds, a Newcastle, that's where you're going to have an atmosphere like that. You know, even like people going about Anfield, if Anfield's down 3-0 to Palace, they're not going to be thinking it. And now everyone looks at Arsenal, they've got this great atmosphere, they've turned things around. They've turned their form around, they're playing good, and now everyone's happy. And that's kind of the way it is as a fan, it looks that way. And obviously, you kind of want fans to sort of lift you up in down moments, and you know. But I just think Champions League nights under the lights, Stamford Bridge, I think it's a special place. And ultimately, the most stick I see for like our own players, Mason Mount, as an example, our own stadium, right, feels like it's our own fan base. You talk to other people, or you hear people's opinions on Stamford Bridge, like Mark Goldbridge, being a United fan, obviously a lot of Tottenham fans would say, but it is maybe a bit of a bogey stadium to go to for them, a difficult place to go. I think we have decent home records against top 6 teams that would say they struggle going to Stamford Bridge. And I don't, some big bowl stadium that's like 60, 70,000 seats, I just don't know how much I really need that. Yeah, would it be nice? Sure, but like if it means giving up on something I think we have is pretty special, which people don't want to say, but like, also the thing about Twitter is I don't know who these people are. Like, I don't know what their affiliation with the club is, like how long they've supported, how old they are. I think it's an important thing because when I was younger, I thought a similar thing. One big new shrunky stadium type thing. Because although it seems unfair to say, oh, it's just people who live abroad or haven't been to Stamford Bridge aren't from the area, but it's like, it also sort of is a valid point for this scenario, because like, it's very easy to say, why are Chelsea fans even annoyed? We get a bigger stadium, it's only a mile down the road, and it's like, you can't at least put yourself in these people's shoes who've maybe been there, season tickets there, their parents had season tickets there who brought them there for the first time. Every single game, like the nights they've seen there, like the trophies they've seen us win. And that's another thing. This whole, we need this stadium to get us to the next level. Like, what the fuck do you mean? What do you mean get us to the next level? What? Tottenham have this new, get us to Tottenham's level. Tottenham still haven't won a trophy since being in there. West Ham's got their London stadium, and the amount of times they've been threatening to go down to the Championship with it is a joke. Arsenal's Emirates had longest time bad reputation, called a library. You know, I mean, we've won every trophy that's been on the table that there is to win, at least once. You know, out of all these teams I'm talking about, the only team in London with a European Cup, and not just a European Cup, a fair few, 2 Europas, 2 Champions Leagues, and then obviously the others, the Super Cups, the Club World Cup, things like that. It's like, so if it's not, and you could say we haven't won the Premier League in a while, but we've won it in Stamford Bridge, so that's also another void point, right? So when you say next level, if you're not talking about a trophy thing, what are you talking about then? Attracting players? Because you just spent how much money on, I don't know, bringing in the best young players in the world apparently. I'm not saying they're not, but like, you know, Enzo Fernandez and Nkunku. At the time, you know, obviously bringing in like Lukaku, it didn't work out, but like if you look at the market, he was a marquee signing. You're attracting talent. Well, we didn't get Haaland. I don't know if Haaland signed for City because they've got like 10,000-15,000 more seats in there. They don't even fill them. You know what I mean? I think he's signed because it's definite success. And like, I don't really know what, when people say they'll take us to the next level, what they mean by that. It'll improve our atmosphere. That's not a definite thing either. That's not guaranteed. Like I said, a lot more hospitality can be implemented, and more expensive seats, which, you know, stops local fans going to games, which, you know, some people give a shit about, some people don't give a shit about. I don't know. I just think it's unfortunate because we're in a place where there's like no space. Ideally, I look at like Anfield, and that's the kind of thing I'd want to happen. Like, just slowly build up stands. But that looks to be basically impossible. You basically have to either keep what you got, knock it down and build on the same place, or move. And I don't really want to knock it down and build on the same place either, if I'm honest. That would even feel sad. I kind of just want something that's not even possible, which is the whole building up a stand at a time type thing, sort of going through like an Anfield type job. Because I don't envy these stadiums everyone keeps talking about. I don't envy the Etihad. I don't envy Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, although it's all schwanky, and I don't envy London Stadium. I don't envy Emirates. So I don't know what people keep saying we need this. It's so vital. I get it from a business standpoint and financially, and I get it from a visual thing, like to sort of fit in with the rest. You know, we're at this dinner party, but we're wearing, you know, kicked out trainers and a t-shirt, and everyone else is in suits. Like, I get it, you want to sort of we belong here type thing, but I don't know. I like Stamford Bridge. I think it just has something. It has something, you know, and it's something that's not that tangible, and something that I thought, you know, or I think, or has been unique to football, but now isn't less so. And people want to blame it on like, oh, Todd Bowley or people adjacent, these rich people who come in and try and change things and make it more Americanized. And it's like, yeah, that's an argument, but it's also the people who watch football is changing. Generations, it just changes. People are more open to it. Todd Bowley comes in and says an idea. There's not tons of backlash. People online and stuff, they're all for it. I assume most of those people are Gen Z. A fair few of them will be not. Obviously, there'll be millennials and there'll be everything in between. But, well, after, you know what I'm trying to say. But I just think, you know, a lot of people just don't care. They just want this big stadium. Like, if you look at all of most teams, probably, I don't even know, I'm just guessing, but most teams in the MLS probably have nice stadiums. Most of those teams were made in like 2006 or whatever, around that time, were founded. If you look at most of like NFL stadiums, they're probably these huge state-of-the-art things. But there's something nice about, in the Premier League, you got these fucking brick shit houses that you have to go to. You've got, you know, Villa Park. You've got Stamford Bridge at the moment. You had the Bowling Grounds, now no longer. Obviously White Hart Lane now no longer. Obviously lost Highbury, that was ages ago. You still got Old Trafford. Stadiums were built, it was a different time. Now everyone will basically just have a big fishbowl. You know, Etihad, big old dong, you know, Emirates, dong. Because although they got slightly different shells, they kind of just feel similar. There's something about Stamford Bridge, that arch of the West Stand. I just like it, man. I like it. I like the sound and people bang on the hoardings or whatever it's called for a last minute winner. I love the intimacy of it. I love the feel of it. But ultimately the decision's not in my hands. And a lot of people seem to be okay with it and kind of for it. By the way, they've not even released any sort of plans of what the new one would look like. If you saw what the one under Abramovich what it looked like, it wasn't exactly nice. But apparently this one looks nicer than that by random reporters. Yeah, people are so for about even seeing what it looks like just because they so desperately want to be cool, basically. That's literally the reason. They're giving all these other bullshit reasons. Next level, even though we've won everything, this and that, even though we can attract anyone we want realistically. Making the pitch wide is a decent thing to say. You can play maybe more expansive football, but I think there's something to be said to be able to play on a narrow pitch. To get to play on a narrow pitch, when you go to then play on a big pitch, you should feel easy. There's still going to be teams with a narrower pitch when you go there, and they're going to struggle to break them down even more because you're not used to playing it week in, week out, or every other week in, week out. The fact you play on that pitch should theoretically make it easier when you go to a smaller lower league side that wants to sit back and be compact. But you know, that's a point people would be making as well. Yeah, look, if they want to make it happen, it will happen. But I personally don't give a fuck and about a 70,000 seat stadium, to be honest. I would happily stay at Stamford Bridge. But that's just my take on it. Anyway, been going for 17 minutes, 25 seconds, but that'd probably a bit short for you. Very tired, very quiet, and very sort of boring, but you know, pod a day. This is how today's one went. I think this one is 98, so I'll see you in 1999.
Here with the kids, and I had like 3 kids, and the geezer was probably on like maximum 20 bags a year. Like the most boring bloke you'd ever meet, he was like a hero.